everyone, this is Film Rich, and today we're breaking down The Sopranos Season 3, Episode 2. An important episode as we see the family deal with the death of Livia Soprano, who was played by the late Nancy Marchand. Marchand gave a fantastic performance as Livia, and unfortunately passed away from cancer between Season 2 and Season 3. Before we get into this episode, I would like to please remind everyone to like, share and subscribe for more content. Now let's get into it scene by scene. The episode opens up late one night where a garbage truck explodes. The next morning, Carmela finds Tony unconscious on the floor. As she questions him, Tony recalls the events leading up to it. Tony remembers coming downstairs to find Meadow with her new friend Noah, a half-Jewish and half-black college student. Noah attempts to discuss the hyper-capitalist film history, but Tony redirects the conversation and expresses his disapproval of interracial relationships, even jokingly insinuating that his family were involved in the old Tarzan movies. He orders Noah to stay away from Meadow. Noah, shocked, leaves with Meadow, who remains unaware of what happens. Tony goes into the kitchen and begins eating gabagool. As he looks around, he notices a box of Uncle Ben's rice. The image triggers a panic attack, causing him to collapse. Tony visits Livia to discuss his upcoming trial, involving stolen airline tickets he had given her. Livia is largely incoherent and mentally disorientated. This can be explained because of the character having Alzheimer's, but in real life it is CGI using Livia's soundbites from previous episodes, which I always thought was a bit creepy. Her caretaker Svetlana shows Tony Granny Remembers cards that Livia was supposed to fill out for her grandchildren but left blank. Frustrated and unable to communicate with her, Tony storms out. That night, Tony watches The Public Enemy. Meadow comes by to do laundry and notices a shift in Noah's behaviour after meeting Tony. She questions him, but Tony avoids giving a clear answer. The next night, after stepping outside to adjust the sprinkler, Tony returns to find Carmela and Meadow and AJ waiting. Carmela tells him that Livia has died in her sleep. Tony is initially in disbelief and begins to show signs of another panic attack before regaining control. He embraces his children and tells them that their grandmother loved them. The family arrives at Livia's home as the ambulance departs. Svetlana informs that Livia suffered a massive stroke. She offers a toast. Family and friends gather at the house. Tony learns that Janice plans to remain in Seattle, where she is involved with a younger co-worker. She fears returning to New Jersey after killing Richie Aprile. Tony reacts angrily but offers to pay her return ticket, which she accepts. Gigi Sestone's crew arrives, including Ralph Cifaretto, recently returned from Florida. Tony brings Ralph and Albert Barisi aside to address a conflict. Ralph has been setting fire to Albert's garbage trucks. Tony is also concerned that Ralph is acting like a captain without officially being assigned the role, something we will see more of as the series goes on. After arriving, Janice begins organising the funeral, insisting on a formal service despite Livia previously expressing she didn't want one. In the basement, Janice searches through belongings but quickly hides her tools when Tony appears. The two go through childhood mementos and Janice notes that Livia kept items from Tony's life but none from her daughter's. Tony fixates on a football insignia from his past. At Livia's wake, Tony observes Ralphie interacting comfortably with others, which unsettles him. Meadow gives Tony a judgmental look when she sees him speaking with a black associate. That night, Tony continues watching The Public Enemy, becoming visibly uncomfortable during scenes involving the main character's mother. At the graveside, Janice argues with Svetlana over Livia's record collection. Svetlana insists Livia left the records to her, while Janice claims that she has a greater right as Livia's daughter. A gathering is held at the Sopranos' house. Tony briefly sees what appears to be the reflection of Big Pussy Bombacero in a mirror. Janice organises a remembrance session, encouraging guests to share stories about Livia. Most struggle to say anything meaningful. One guest recalls Livia as a close friend who would call whenever someone died. Christopher, under the influence, delivers a rambling and incoherent speech about clones and multiple versions of Livia. Outside, Aibuko confronts Tony, reminding him that Livia told him Tony was responsible for the fire at Vesuvio's. Meanwhile, Ralph follows Tony's earlier instructions literally by having one of Albert's associates beaten, insisting there will be no fires. Back inside, the remembrance turns into open criticism of Livia. Hugh De Angelis speaks about her difficult personality, with others agreeing. Carmela ultimately calls out the entire exercise, stating that Livia likely avoided a funeral because she knew no one would have anything good to say. She concludes that Livia was aware of the problem herself. That night, Tony finishes watching The Public Enemy. In the final scene, the main character's corpse is returned home, while his mother unknowingly prepares for his arrival. As Tony watches, he begins to weep. And there we have it, with Livia gone, long buried emotions begin to surface, revealing just how deep her impact ran on everyone around her, especially Tony. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more content and scene by scene recaps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.